Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Good Guy Sports. Joined by myself, your host today, Blake Gerke, Jackson Gerke, Mike Roby. Might have B.O. Limberger popping on a bit later as well. But, gentlemen, we are in October now, which officially means, in my opinion, the best sports month of the year. We got playoff baseball, we got college football, professional football, NBA, NHL starting back up. We got soccer going on throughout this month. MLS playoffs coming on. European soccer still running throughout this month as well. So there's no shortage of sports options. Today, though, we're going to start by looking at MLB playoffs. Currently, this week, the first wild card round has been going on, best of three series. As you record here today on Thursday, the last round of those games, some have been finals, some are still happening tonight. As we stand here, the Dodgers took care of the Reds in the best of three series quite handily in two games. The Tigers, just before we started recording, won game three over the Guardians to advance to the divisional series against the two seed Seattle Mariners. Currently, the Padres and Cubs in the wild card series are battling it out as we record here right now for a game three. So we'll be sure to update you on that matchup. Winner heads over to Milwaukee. I was trying to think of the nickname of Milwaukee, the Brewing City or something like
Brewers.
the Brewing City, as they'll be taking a trip up to Wisconsin. And then, of course, the big one tonight, we have the old familiar foes, Red Sox, Yankees, split the first two games. So it'll be a winner take all, i.e., a matchup against a familiar opponent in the American League East, Toronto Blue Jays, who are the number one seed in the American League, in case you weren't aware. A lot of people, I think, might have been sleeping on Toronto and the fact that they've actually clinched that number one seed in the American League. Pretty impressive. But Mike, I'll start with you. You're the big baseball guru on this show. You got the insights, the analysis. What have you made of this wild card round? Firstly, I want to ask you: do you like the wild card round uh, as it's concocted here as a best of three? And what have you made of it so far?
Yeah, no, I like the best of three. I think it's better than the one and done or the single plane in game that they used to have.
I agree.
You know, this year I think is the first time that they had three out of the four series go to the deciding third game. Most of them they've been swept. So it's pretty exciting. Uh,
It's good TV.
Good TV. I mean, I've been watching mostly the Tigers and the Guardians
Okay,
since that's the early game,
you're
so
a
it's
big
not
AL
past.
Central guy, huh?
Well, not I'm I'm a big afternoon baseball guy,
Fair.
but
Mm.
they've been battling. I mean, yesterday the Tigers were 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position, and
I
but
mean, you would have had to feel bad for the Tigers if they lost this series, given the lead that they end up choking
yeah,
or giving up to the Guardians. So, kind of
hmm
funny that they ended up playing the same team that they lost a huge lead
yeah.
to in a best of three, and then still won anyways. They're just giving their fan base a heart attack there for no reason.
Oh, I know. They just and they started out today pretty much similar, but they're the middle of their lineup finally got some hits, and they persevered. So it's been a tip of the cap to the Guardians, and feel bad for
Absolutely.
the Guardian fans, but the Tigers move on. It was a good series.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Cardiac Tigers move on. Jackson, obviously tonight we got a big matchup. Red Sox, Yankees, biggest rivalry in baseball. This rivalry extends to the playoffs now here as well. I know a lot of Yankee fans were pretty disappointed with that game one showing from the Bronx Bombers. Obviously, they clawed things back in game two. What do you think is going to happen tonight, Jack? I'll just give you my opinion. I think the Yankees are going to be a little bit tight. Obviously, they're at home. Their fan base is going to be expecting a win. The team has been up and down this year, shall we say. So I think it's going to be a tense atmosphere at Yankee Stadium tonight, Jackson. How do you think it's going to go?
Oh, I agree, Blake. You know how this game plays out. It no matter if it's in Fenway or at Yankee Stadium, it always gets a tense. These teams dislike and hate each other. And what I mean by that is that there's always going to be some bad blood. This all started back in 2003 when the Red Sox had a 3-1 series lead. They thought they were going to close out the game or series, except the Yankees somehow struck back in Game 6 and Game 7 that year. And then fast forward a year later, where you had the Red Sox, it was they got their revenge from the Yankees, and that was all said and done. And that was thanks in large part to Big Poppy David Ortiz, who saved it all in that series and went on to win the World Series that year. But to me, but tonight in this matchup, it's going to be crucial. It's a 1-1 game. If you're the Yankees, you gotta win this game, or else this is going to be another heartbreak for Aaron Boone and this and his ball club, and pretty much any pro sports team in New York is going to be facing a lot of tough questions in the offseason. So that's going to be really, and that's really really what I'm going to be have my eye on for what for for how it's going to for what's going to go down for Aaron Boone and for this ball club. For the Red Sox, look, they tied this game all even up. It's Trevor Story and if and their players Juwan Duran and Trevor Story, Alex Bregman and Rafael Devers, if they step it up,
No, he's a
then
giant now, but
The Red Sox have yeah, of course, but yeah, yeah.
we saw
That's the
him.
whole.
We saw him in San Francisco.
We sure did. And that's the whole big conversation there. But my point is that Duran and Trevor Story and Alex Bregman, if they step it up and get the bats going, then they got a chance to win this game. That's how it's all going to go down. Now, look, the Red Sox did tie it up in Game 2, except the Yankees just add some more runs and add on to it to force
Yeah,
Game 3.
it was not an easy Yankee victory in Game 2, was it? They
Well,
had to sweat it out.
no, it wasn't. So I think for the Red Sox, if you're Alex Cora and for this manager for this team, you are to score first and and to make some great plays and not make any mistakes and
Put the pressure on
put
the
the
home crowd, right?
pressure on them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, take the crowd out of it and just do everything you can. And if you do all those things, then I think the Red Sox have a chance to win this game.
I think the Red Sox are going to test Judge's arm again, like they did in Game 1.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
does seem like they kind of know.
Well, he can't. He's not 100%, and
Right.
his throws are a lot slower than they would be. So they're going to stretch those anything hit deep and right. They're going to stretch and stretch for a hustle double and just really test Judge's arms, particularly if it's a close game.
Absolutely, yeah. The base running is going to be key. The Red Sox kind of know I mean, they've obviously played each other a bunch. They know strengths and weaknesses, and like you said, Judge, he's really there for his bat, isn't he? He's not exactly
Hmm.
winning any Gold Gloves right now with his injury. So, it's yeah. I would definitely expect that to be keyed on as well. Do you think, Mike, if let's say the Yankees do lose this game tonight, do you think maybe there'll be a change in managerial posts in Yankee Stadium, possibly even a change in the front office? I know Cashman's been
Yeah.
there for a while, right? It seems like there's
Hmm.
a lot of unhappiness despite their playoff, their where they sit in the playoffs right now, just about the team
Yeah.
being run
No,
right now, right?
I would think there's probably going to be. I mean, for Yankee fans, if they don't win the World Series, they've had a losing season. But he's not the Yankees aren't the only ones in the Big Apple that are going to have problems. They're
I suppose
crosstown rivals, the Mets.
they can compare themselves and say, at least we made the playoffs, right? But
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
exactly.
Yankee fans do have high expectations, as you mentioned. So I'll be
Hmm.
curious to see what happens if they do end up dropping tonight.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
maybe Aaron Boone could come and manage the Nationals.
oh, there you go. There you go.
Hmm.
Can be a new project. We should mention as well the other confirmed series. Good series, Dodgers Phillies. This is sort of
Yes, that is going to be awesome.
some might
I'm
say
looking
this
forward to that.
is possibly getting this a bit early, this would be maybe an NLCS for a lot of people in terms of obviously Milwaukee has been really consistent this entire year, but maybe talent wise, people would say
Mhm.
Dodgers, Phillies have probably the two most stacked rosters in the National League. So,
Yeah.
um, Mike, what do you make of this NLDS? Should be a good series, huh?
I think Dodgers in five.
Okay.
Um, and both teams are very evenly matched. But the reason why I give the nod to the Dodgers is because they, both teams have been there, done that. But Betts is getting hot. He was 4 for 5 the other night, and Otani is just Otani. And I would give the Phillies edge in the bullpen.
Okay.
Um, Dodgers bullpen is a little bit iffy, but starting pitching I'd give to the Dodgers, particularly with Zach Wheeler out for the season. That's
I think
gonna hurt.
Otani on the bump for game one.
Yeah, he's on the bump for game one, and so it's going to be fun to see he and Schwarber battle it out for home run duels.
Tell you what, there's a lot of power in this series, isn't there? A lot of home run
Yeah.
hitters. So
But
I would expect some high
interesting,
scoring games.
all of the all of the Phillies starters, their three starters are going to use. They're all lefties.
Hey, don't forget about Clayton Kershaw. He is going to be enjoying
We'll be eating hot dogs.
enjoying his last ride as a pitcher with the Dodgers. So that will
Hmm.
be fun to watch.
Yeah, he'll come out of the bullpen, and you got to think that he might have something in the tank.
That could be fun, yeah.
But I remember in 2019 when he pitched Game 5, he came out of the bullpen, and within three pitches, he gave up 2 home runs.
Mm.
The Nationals tied the game.
Checkered playoff history for sure. So
So, but then I've seen Kershaw come out of the bullpen at Nationals Park and just wipe out the Nationals' hope to continue on with the series. But it's going to be good. I think, Freddie Freeman is going to have a good series. It's going to be tight, but I think that to me that's the must watch series.
agree. Yeah, that's definitely smells like
Agree.
a five gamer there for sure. Jack, do you have a lean there before we I think the series starts on
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes, I think this is going to go to 7 games, and I
It's a five
have
game series, but
well, yeah,
I'd love
yeah.
to get
So,
7 games of Dodgers Phillies though.
but yes, I'm with Mike there. I also have the Dodgers in 5.
Hmm.
So it will be a very close
Phillies do
game
have home
through.
field advantage, by the way. We should say so. Game five
Well,
will be
that's
in
true.
Philadelphia, but
That's true, but I don't think home field advantage really means anything in the postseason. So that part does matter. Does tell you a lot to me. So
it's a long
really
flight.
well, yeah, but that's true. But the Dodgers, well, they travel well no matter where they play, and that's really the beauty of the postseason, and that's really how it all plays out to me, and that's just how postseason baseball, in my opinion, should be.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think those are some exciting series, and I guess we'll get. I don't know if it seems like we get a lot of divisional series because it looks like the Cubs hang on today. They'll be playing the Brewers, NL
Hmm.
Central matchup, and then the American League East will be squaring off in the DS as well. So interesting, kind of get those familiar opponents, you know each other a bit better. But yeah, I think this could be. I think I'm be definitely be curious to see if we get maybe a new contender, i.e. Seattle, Toronto, the 1 and 2 seed in the American League. I don't remember the last time one of those two teams has been in the World Series. It's been quite a long time. I'm trying to even think in my head right now because I think, yeah, probably not even in the 21st century, if I'm not mistaken, Seattle or Toronto in the World Series. So I think that will be exciting to get sort of some fresh teams possibly winning a pennant. So I think for the National League side, I'd be surprised if it's not the Dodgers or Phillies representing. But like we said, gentlemen, we got a long October here as we build up to the World Series. So we'll be excited to keep an eye on that as we progress through. But let's pivot now to a little bit of football chat. Like I said, we got a busy October sports month, all kinds of sports going on. But we do have some interesting college football games. And college game day will be in Tuscaloosa this weekend, Jack. But there's a team playing in Tuscaloosa that's not maybe used to the game day experience, i.e., the school where I went, where I have my degree. I'm alumni, Vanderbilt University, the Commodores, the Gold and Black from Nashville, Tennessee. They'll be taking a little trip to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama, a team who, if you need reminding, they did beat last year. Now, that was at home, but they still did beat the Crimson Tide in a famous victory documented on a show on Netflix as well. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But this is probably the most high-profile matchup we have this weekend in college football. Two ranked teams, probably maybe you would say Miami, Florida State, but maybe I'm just kind of biased towards the SEC, possibly a little bit. But I think this is. I mean, this is a massive matchup, Jack. Let's not throw any bones about here. I mean, this is a big game. Vanderbilt has been the highest ranked they've been since
Since forever.
since pigs could fly. You know what I mean? Like it's been a heck of a start to the season. Obviously, they took out your Commodores quite easily. Sorry to bring that up again, but this is where the real test starts for the Commodores, doesn't it? They've got
Yeah.
getting into the bulk of their schedule: Alabama, LSU, Texas, et cetera, et cetera. There's not much of a stronger test than away at Alabama, coming off of a massive victory themselves in Athens, Georgia, lest we forget last weekend. So Alabama's sitting at 10th now because of that victory. But Jackson, I mean, the Commodores are confident, man. Diego Pavia, he's got swag. He's a confident kid. He's slinging the pill downfield. I mean, what do you think, man? What do you make of this game? Let me just start there.
Well, this is going to be a toughest test for Diego Pavio because he's going to be going up against he's going to be going into a hostile environment in the crowd in Tuscaloosa, their biggest road test yet. This year's game is not in Vanderbilt. The game this year will be in Bryant-Denny, and this will be a whole new test for the Commodores. And you are going up against by far the red hot quarterback of Ty Simpson and Kevin Riley and Jamar Bennett and Buddy Chuppard and all those veteran Kyle Kevin Riley leads the team in rushing yards, and it's gonna be a tall order tall task for Vanderbilt heading into this game. It's just going to be a lot of hard work for this football team, and I just have a hard time believing Vanderbilt getting a win at Tuscaloosa in this environment, and I just don't think I see this happening, Blake.
Really?
Yeah.
Please? What if I say please? No, I'm kidding. I mean, listen, that's what people said last year when Alabama came to Nashville. People didn't give them much of a chance, did they? But listen, I can't argue with any of the facts that you just laid out there. Away winning at Alabama is just a very different proposition than, sneaking a good win at home. So I can't disagree with you. But what I would say is I think compared to last year, people were just not giving Vanderbilt any chance against Alabama because people didn't really know what to make of this Clark Lee, Diego Pavia revamped Commodore team, Commodore offense, etc. I think now people, obviously, given they're ranked 16th in the country, so people are taking more of a notice to Pavia, to Clark Lee, and kind of what he's doing there. So in that respect, I think Vanderbilt is taking steps and they're building up to be that recognized. They're not and at that level of a Georgia, Alabama, obviously, or Texas or whatever, but they're getting more and more respect. Um, as the weeks progress compared to last year. So, um, give me the doors, man. Let's go. I'm saying Commodores by 7, man. Let's do it.
Well, we'll
Well,
see about
who would have
that.
thought that
Come on.
Vanderbilt would be 5-0, and who would have thought that their quarterback would be in the buzz for a potential Heisman?
Jacob Pavia for Heisman.
He's probably,
He's
eight or
got a great
nine on the
candidacy.
list. I
Well,
mean,
he's got a chance this weekend, doesn't he?
he does. He does. I mean, if um, I think people when people think of Vanderbilt, they think, well, who? What? They're not supposed to be any good at football. But you know what? They are.
Not so fast.
Not so fast.
Well, so how do you see this game playing out, Mike?
Commodores will win by 3.
Oh, you hear that,
Whoa.
Jack?
I
We
did.
got you beat.
Sh
BL's not here to save your behind. We got 2-1 to the doors, man.
well, that's shots fired at me, and I just didn't think you were going to say that until you were to even
You know, Uncle
even
Mike loves an
even
underdog.
believe. Well, he's all about that,
I
and
mean,
you wouldn't even and and I wouldn't even believe you after saying that.
Alabama 10.5 point favorite over. I know they're at home, but over another ranked SEC opponent. How insulting is that? Clark Lee should be putting that on the bulletin board in the locker room, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clark Lee is going to be going up against Kevin
Nobody
DeBourne
believes in us.
because Kevin DeBourne, his team always shows up at home.
They
The
didn't show up
crowd
against
is
Florida
going to
State.
Yeah.
play. It's going to play a factor at Bryant Denny, and those fans are going to be ready and showing up. And Clark Lee's Vanderbilt Commodores team is going to be
Hmm.
the biggest test yet because
Yeah.
the Vanderbilt defense has got to do its job of trying to get out of the field on third down very quickly and just try to not prevent Bama to get more first downs. And if they do their job, they have a chance. But if they don't, which Alabama is so red hot offensively with the ball, because how good they are at home. But if Vanderbilt can't get off the field on defense on first down critical plays, then Alabama's probably going to be winning the game.
Yeah. But all the Vanderbilt has no pressure. They can play loose.
Exactly.
All the pressure's on Alabama. So, Vandy comes in there and they stay loose and they play. They don't make any mistakes. It's going to be a tight ball game.
All they got to do is, similar recipe to last year, get off to a quick start, catch Alabama cold. Obviously, Bama will be riding high after a
Yeah.
big win against Georgia last weekend.
Yeah.
Possibly a bit of a come down this weekend for them at home. I don't think, given Vanderbilt's ranking and some of the, Pavia's been smack talking, obviously, as this is purview, but I don't think necessarily they're going to be overlooking Vanderbilt, but they're certainly not going to be as, let's say, intense, I think, compared to away at Georgia versus home for Vanderbilt. So if Vanderbilt can use that to their advantage, jump on them early, score an early touchdown, maybe get a 10-point lead quickly, something like that, and kind of grind out the rest of the game. I
Hmm.
think there's definitely a pathway for it. So yeah, listen, I'm not backing down, Jack. I'm taking the doors in this one, man. You're not going to convince me otherwise, okay?
No, I'll try my best.
We'll see. We'll see. Um, Other big matchup I mentioned earlier as well this weekend, I guess a bit of a rivalry game in the state, in the Orange State or the Sunshine State. I'm just using my state analogies today for some reason. Miami, Florida State. This one's away at Florida State as well, Tallahassee. Miami's getting a lot of buzz this year, aren't they? They got some pretty big wins under their belt so far. Florida State would be going into this matchup a lot more higher ranked. This possibly could even be a top 10 matchup, if not for their loss against the Cavaliers, Mike, the
Yeah.
out there in Virginia last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, interesting game. I think this would be a tough one for Miami. I think Florida State probably a bit better than 18th ranked. Obviously, that Virginia loss could have gone either way, and that's kind of docked them. But um, this is going to be a tough one for Miami. These teams obviously have a bit of a traditional history, rivals, et cetera, et cetera. Mike, what do you make of this matchup here?
I'm staying with Carson Beck.
He's been playing well, hasn't he? He's the
Yeah.
Heisman favorite so far, you think?
I think he may be. He may be. I don't see I don't see Miami losing this one.
You think
They'll
they
they'll
keep the train going here, huh?
I think so. I think so. Now, I mean
Yeah,
Florida,
yeah.
yeah. Florida State losing to Virginia, they got something to prove at home, but I Miami's a much better team than UVA.
It's true. It's true. Jackson, what do you make of this ACC powerhouse matchup here?
When I think of it, yeah, I'm with Mike on this one. I've got Miami in this one as well. Look, it's going to be too much Carson Beck in this game, and he's going
Nobody
to
needs
be
too much Carson Beck.
well, yeah, because
I'll just take a little bit of Carson Beck
well,
personally.
yeah, he's going to be running the ball a lot as their quarterback in this game, and that's just how I'm seeing it. And yeah, and I think yeah, and I think that Mark Fletcher um and all of their also and all their best players on this team is going to they're going to score a lot of points in this game, and Florida State's probably going to keep it close, but not at but probably not as close as you think. It's probably going to be it's probably they're Miami's probably going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. I'm guessing so. Maybe one. It's going to be one of those scenarios, but yeah, it's just too much Miami for me. They're going to win this game.
I think Miami's been off to a heck of a start, and you can't take anything away from beating Notre Dame week one. I mean, possibly you could argue, beating a ranked South Florida team by a lot. It's impressive, but they themselves aren't a ranked team anymore, and they beat a Florida team. It's a good win, but it's not Tim Tebow's Florida, is it? So I just have still a few question marks about how much the team will be tested, given this is probably their toughest game remaining on their entire schedule, and we just got to October, right? So, I think we'll have to wait and see in terms of Miami and Carson Beck's championship Heisman credentials, in my opinion. But this will be a big litmus test to see uh, kind of how dominant they are. If they come out and put a whooping on Florida State, that will give you a lot of indications. I would pick the Canes here in this one too. I think they're a good football team. Class of the ACC, I think so far. But like I said, I'm not ready to crown them championship contenders quite yet. I want to see a little bit more, possibly this weekend as well. Other big college matchups we got to look forward to. Those are kind of the big two ones. Kind of interesting games here and there. Um, Poor Dabo Swinney and Bill Belichick Bowl. Not quite the clash of the heavyweights that we thought it was going to be before the season, is it? It's kind of a couple of ACC coaches down on their luck, isn't it?
Yeah. So if
Yeah,
if if
Earl,
Clemson
yeah,
loses this, is that it for their coach?
You think Dabo has to hit the high road after this one, Jack? If he loses to Chapel Bill,
yeah. He's going to be on the hot seat. It's just going to be.
I think his seat's already pretty warm. I just felt it, and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
finger's a little hot.
yeah. Well, if he loses, this locker room and Dabo is going to be answering a lot of tough questions after this game. It's just going to be it's just going to be a lot of tough, hard ass questions. Just going to be feeling a lot of pressure and
I've got a lot of questions for Dabo.
yeah, and I think that I think his team. So, having come off a rough start, losing to Georgia Tech in a last second field goal, um, and to start you off with, and which is really which I think is a tough loss to start with for for Clemson. So 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 yeah, you lost at home to Gus Musmeyer and the LSU Tigers. You lose to Georgia Tech. You lose at home to Georgia Tech, and you lose to Syracuse.
I mean, that's the one that's
Now that game,
inexcusable.
well, yeah,
Inexcusable.
well, nothing you can really do about it. Now that game actually was in a weather delay. Last I
Oh,
checked,
come on. I'm not having that. No
because
excuses, Jack. You
because
beat Syracuse at
be,
home.
because the reason why I say that is because Syracuse made a adjustment for their momentum in the locker room while the weather delay was going on,
Right.
and something tells me that the Syracuse team just showed up and went to work and just practiced and just did their own routine workout and did their own thing
Hmm.
and 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 then they just showed up in the second half right when the weather delay ended, and that really and they just did their job and did what they had to do, and that was just really and that's really how it's all said and done, right there. And I think that it shows you with how Clemson just somehow just really just couldn't find any answers with one of the playmakers, and what they had missing for both sides of the ball, really, which was just which was, I think, costly. And Clemson and Syracuse Tech, those teams, Syracuse just came to play in that game, and that was really thanks in large part from the weather delay um, that that took place in this game, and that was really and to me that was a game that you got to give Syracuse a lot of credit, because they were the ones that showed up in that game, and that was how they found a way to win that one. And for the Tech game, yeah, the game was tied. Clemson just had to get a play and just try to take him back yards and a penalty, and just try to back him up for a penalty, and just try to do, and then just try to make more, and just try to put the pressure on Georgia Tech and their kicker. But but the game would have been sent to overtime. Instead, Tech Georgia Tech set up for the game winner, and that was where things just got started to get worse for Clemson and Dabo to be able to survive it in this rush into the field at the Bobby Dodd Stadium down Georgia Tech, and that was just a heartbreaking fashion for being upset with how of the look in Dabo's face of how
He couldn't quite believe it.
of how sad and just yeah, exactly, and
I love that
how
expression.
sad and just really of his face, of his expression that he was feeling after that one, and that just really
Hmm.
and but yeah, something's got to give, and just this Clemson team's got to get something addressed this Saturday and just try to turn around, or else their season is going to be coming to an end.
Yeah, I mean, for certainly, and I mean, Bill Belichick's obviously gotten off to a bit of a spotty start himself, hasn't he? Obviously taking a pretty comprehensive loss in Orlando last weekend against the Knights. So, yeah, it's a bit of a sad ACC right now, isn't it? To be honest, like we had high expectations for Bill Belichick, we had high expectations for Clemson, and those teams have laid a bit of an egg. So, it's really just Miami, and we'll see how some other teams are able to progress along here. But not surprising that it's really a SEC Big Ten dominated rankings, particularly when we look at the college landscape. But any matchups, Mike, upsets,
Mhm.
games you have an eye on this weekend before we jump to a little NFL chat here?
No, not really. I think Longhorns travel to Florida,
Want to keep an eye on maybe just.
but I don't see Florida. Uh, I don't see Florida winning this. I think Florida ends up 1-4 after the end of this weekend.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. Florida's going to be having a tough season this year. Billy Napier feeling a lot of pressure like he did last season, and yeah, they had too many tough losses, and they lost so many games that were favorable to win this game. And for Florida, I just thought it was I just thought it was going to be their season. Instead, you lose to USF because you took a stupid penalty, and one of the players spit on the opposing player, which is something you cannot do
Can't do
as a
that.
football player, right?
Mm.
And unfortunately, one of those players from Florida just broke the rules, and that was how that all was set up there, and then you go to LSU and lose in a blowout. That is unacceptable, and so looking at the rest of the of Florida's schedule, it's not looking very pretty from what I can understand. Other than the game against Texas, it's not going to look very pretty. They have to go to A&M after the Texas game. That's gonna be another loss for them because you're going to go to College Station, and the 12th man is going to be rocking in that place.
Mm.
At Kyle Field's going to be rocking, and they're going to be making some noise and sacking DJ Ugway in that game. And Kyle Field's going to be rocking, and those 12th man's yell is going to be all over, all over in that game.
Now, yeah,
And then you got Mississippi State,
yeah, I'm gonna get the whole
which is the
schedule, but no,
only game.
I gotta I gotta
But
ask a question here, Jackson.
well, go right ahead real quick because after that you have to play Georgia and Jacksonville. We all know how that's going to turn out in that game. I'm not going to.
Yeah, yeah, we know. All right,
Well, of course
hurry
we
up.
do. Of course we do. And I'm pretty sure we know how that's going to all turn out in that one, which I'm pretty sure we won't get to this week. But they got to go to Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State. So Florida's schedule, Blake, not looking that great, and
It's tough.
it's
It's
going to
tough,
be a
man. It's
losing
tough.
season. And this team's probably not going to make a bowl game this year, Blake.
Hey, welcome to SEC. Welcome to SEC. Mike, before you jump, I
Uh-huh.
got three home teams, ranked home teams. I want you to tell me which one is most likely to get upset at home. Kentucky traveling to Georgia, 12th ranked Georgia,
Okay.
Wisconsin traveling to Michigan, or Boise State traveling to South Bend to take on
And
Notre Dame. Of those three matchups, which team are you most likely to put on upset alert?
Boise State
Ooh,
beating Notre Dame.
you think Boise State? I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, I don't see Kentucky beating Georgia.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And what was that? I forgot the other
Wisconsin
Wisconsin.
traveling to Michigan.
I don't see Wisconsin beating Michigan. I mean, Maryland beat
Not against this.
Maryland beat Wisconsin
Yeah,
earlier.
Right. Wisconsin's
yeah,
not a great
So
team this year,
I
are they?
don't yeah, I don't see Michigan losing at home against Wisconsin.
yeah. Wisconsin against Michigan, not against Bryce Underwood, where he's
Yeah.
going to score a 50 touchdown in that game. So
Well, you're a big
yeah,
Michigan guy now, aren't you?
very small little chance for Patriots to pull off in this game, especially going into the big house. That's going to be a tall order, tall tax to be playing in that place.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I really don't think I think Notre Dame will beat Boise State, but of all those three, I think Boise State's has a better chance of winning on the road.
yeah, yeah. Crucially, though, they don't play on a blue field in South Bend, though, so that might be a
No,
disadvantage to them. They
no.
play on a gold
And
field there, do they? Or no?
well, they
Maybe
have they have touchdown Jesus.
That's there you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, definitely. That's the little tip of the day. Maybe you don't have to pick Boise State outright, but maybe if you think they might do something against the Irish,
Yeah,
might put a flyer on it. Who knows? Who knows?
yeah. And the other one is you got ranked 24 Virginia at Louisville.
Mm, tough one.
I think Louisville will win.
You think, yeah, tough going away at Louisville is particularly tough coming off that big win, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Those are all our college picks of the week, games to keep an eye on, et cetera, et cetera. I want to jump to the NFL now, gentlemen. Coming off of some interesting games this past weekend, we got another good slate, some really good games that I want to keep an eye on this week. Obviously, we'll get to the Thursday night game here in a second. We'll give some picks for that towards the end, where we have an NFC West matchup. Interesting game in the 1 o'clock slot with the Denver Broncos traveling to the undefeated
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles. This team is really maybe not played perfect football. They're grinding out games, but Mike, they're still undefeated. And
Hmm.
as a fan of a NFC East team, you must be kind of pulling your hair out seeing the way the Eagles are. I mean, they're not pulling these games out of thin air, but they're kind of just grinding their way to an undefeated season, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's only two undefeated teams in the NFL, Bills and Eagles.
Hmm. Is that
Mm.
a Super Bowl
Yeah.
matchup preview, you think?
Could be, could be. You got Baltimore only winning one game so far.
So they have to be
But
the surprise disappointment so far in the season,
yeah,
huh?
I mean, the Broncos have a chance to win. Uh, but yeah, I Eagles will Eagles end up winning at home.
Mm. Well, I do want to point out that the Eagles and Bills will actually face each other this season, but it won't be until Week 18 on December 28th.
They're making us
It,
wait.
that's right, and this game will be played at the Bills in Buffalo, so that will probably be most likely the last regular season game being played at Highmark Stadium before they move into the new one
That's
starting
right.
next season. So that
All
should
right,
be exciting.
as the Eagles' first loss.
They go
Oh,
all the way until they lose to the Commanders the next week as well, right?
I don't even want to go there.
Other interesting matchups to keep an eye on this week, in my opinion, I think Tampa Bay traveling to Seattle, Jackson, is a really interesting game. Obviously, Seattle's gotten off to a good start, you have to say, so far, currently tied with the two teams playing tonight on Thursday for the lead. That I think we predicted it before the season, and so far we're correct with NFC West being a really tight division. Tampa looks like they're in good position in the NFC South, but I think, dare I say, these are two playoff teams playing in Seattle this weekend, Jack. I don't know how you feel about that, but
Well, Baker Mayfield is questionable with an injury in their last game and their loss against the Philadelphia Eagles. So
he'll
that's
play.
going to be a
He's
question
tough.
mark for me, which I know he is. But but one of the other players I want to keep my eye on is Tyree Smith, who is he is questionable, their center, and if he doesn't go, then that's probably a big loss, blow to him. But you're going, but let's face it, you were supposed to. Let's face it, the Buccaneers had their games to two tough games in their schedule, which was against the Philadelphia Eagles, and now you have to travel all the way out to the Pacific Northwest to face our Seattle Seahawks. That is a tall task if for the Buccaneers for for tall order for Todd Bowles and his defense to go up into this environment with the 12th man and this and one of the most loudest stadiums you'll ever experience in the NFL. It's going to be a long day for Baker Mayfield and Emba Mbuka and Bucky Irving to even pull this one off. It's going to be because Sam Darnold and Kevin Walker and Jackson Smith and Jimba and those playmakers for Seattle, you know how they're going to play. Being fans of that team, that they're probably going to be showing up, and Leonard Williams probably going to be sacking Baker Mayfield a couple of times in this game, especially if they have the first or second down situation into this environment in this stadium, and and I think that, to me, if the Buccaneers were to lose this game, then maybe things get interesting in the NFC South between the Falcons and the Bucks. Who knows? But the Buccaneers don't win this game, then yeah, I think things will get very interesting for how the for interesting for how the for things that's saying out for the race in the NFC South, even though we're still in the early mid season. But yeah, if you lose this one, especially against a tough environment out there in Seattle at Lumen Field, then yeah, that's going to be a tall task for the Buccaneers if you were not able to pull this one off. But yeah, Sam Darnold on the other hand, Kevin Walker and and Bernard Jones and those playmakers, yeah, they're going to step it up. And I expect Seattle to win this game, and they are going to be showing it up in the big moments whenever they make big plays. And I think now Seattle's favored to win this game, and I do have Seattle win this game.
Yeah, listen, I can't disagree with anything you said there. I think this is going to be a good competitive game that will come close to the end. I think Tampa's a good team, man. I think people will really maybe because the rest of the NFC South is poor this year and possibly even the past couple of years. They haven't maybe gotten as much respect as they deserve. But you mentioned Emeka Egbuka. He's a quality rookie. Baker is been playing his socks off in Tampa so far, hasn't he? So,
Oh
um,
yeah.
yeah, I think this is a good game to be fair. And I think, Mike, the other 4 o'clock
Hmm.
game, obviously your Commanders traveling to LA.
LA.
What are your expectations for that one? Is it what's the update for Jaden Daniels?
Jaden will play. Daniels will play.
Missed him last week, didn't they?
Missed well, we missed the defense got on the wrong flight.
Right.
They went to Orlando instead of Atlanta.
Yeah,
And
that was
Mm.
evident.
yeah, I mean, but you're missing two of your starting defensive backs. And then you got another defensive end hurt last week. So, the defense is having problems. Um, Unfortunately, Chargers win this game.
Mm.
Um, I mean, the Chargers are just uh, one of the better offensive teams. I'd love for the Commanders to win, but I just realistically, I think the Chargers end up winning this game.
Yeah, they're a good football team for sure.
I
You
agree. The
might
Chargers will win this game, but if you go back to last week, Mike, the Chargers actually went on the road last week,
lost.
yeah, yeah,
To
yes,
who?
Yeah.
yes, the Big
Uh,
Blue and the G-Men and the Giants
No, but
because
who was
it.
playing quarterback in that game though?
Well, I think I know who. None other than Jackson Dart,
Sim
their
Dart.
future
Jackson
starting
Dart's
quarterback.
Giants.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. And and so the Chargers played a tough game in that one, except they didn't finish in the last few minutes of that drives in that game, and that was the difference there because
Hmm.
Jackson Dart showed up in the big moments in that game, and it was his first start, and the Giants finally benched Russell Wilson, which is kind of which is great because I think he should be, which was great because I think he should retire and be with his wife Sierra and do some other things in life.
Ouch. Harsh.
Because yes, because I say that because he's had a long tenure career with our Seahawks and Pete Carroll with Seattle. He should retire, and I think he should be with his family and with his kids and do some stuff, do some family stuff together, other than playing football, and just have a great time and live your life. And so the Giants say hello to Jackson Dart, their future starting quarterback. The Giants are 0-4, but if you build your first win of the season, then there's something you should be excited about if you're a Giants fan. And I think Jackson Dart delivers, and I think Jackson Dart, to me, will be the next Eli Manning Ole Miss quarterback since to be named the quarterback from Ole Miss and Jackson Dart. I wouldn't be surprised because in the future we could very well see this happening. I would love to see a Jackson Dart and Jaden Daniels
Oh
showdown between the
yeah.
two
Yeah.
quarterbacks
Yeah.
from the SEC between Ole Miss and LSU. I think everybody wants to sign up for that, including me, which I am all in for. And,
Yeah.
and I'm one of those people that really wants it to actually happen.
Well, the big problem with the Giants is Malik Neighbors is out for the
Oh
year.
yeah,
That's gonna hurt the Giants.
that's going to cost them. And that's costly because losing one of your big targets for this team is that's a huge blow for this team because without him they're not the same team. But with him they will score a lot of points. But you're right, Mike. It's
Yeah.
definitely going to be a it's there. You're right, Mike. It's definitely going to be huge and tough for for those who are Giants fans and for the fan base to not return this season, which is definitely which I'm sure the Giants will have some backup plans the next man up to set up for him, but without Malik Neighbors, yeah, I just don't know how you can replace him. It's tough.
Yeah.
There's no way you can replace him.
Yeah. Hey, I've got a hypothetical question for you, Jack.
Okay.
Will the Bengals trade for Kirk Cousins?
Um, Two words. Highly unlikely.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins
Two good words.
actually loves Atlanta because that's his
Yeah,
home.
he's not playing though.
His house is there. He's from there. He has no plans to leave the Atlanta area. He grew up there and lived there most of his life. And they
No,
just
he's
bought
not.
a.
He's just his wife's from there.
Listen, I know,
So what?
but
This is the National Football League. Somebody wants you, you go.
I'm trying to tell you something, Blake. That
Okay.
I've watched the Netflix quarterback series, and they just bought a very nice house down there in one of the suburbs of the Atlanta area.
Nah, boo-hoo.
I believe it's in Suwanee, if I'm mistaken, which is nice, and in one of the areas northeast of the city of Atlanta.
Right.
And let me tell you something, Blake.
Mm.
The reason why I say they don't. The reason why I say they have no plans or desire to leave Atlanta is because they just bought a house.
Okay.
Their life is happier there. They have a backyard. They have a place to play on. They got
Room for dogs to run around.
Well, exactly, because they have their own open space backyard, and
Okay.
even has their own basement. And,
What about this,
and
Jack?
trust me, Blake.
Huh?
I've seen it before on the quarterback series on Netflix, and I know what it's like. Trust me on this.
What about Mike brought up the idea of the Bengals trading for Kirk Cousins? What if the Bengals trade for the guy you just took a sledgehammer to, Russell Wilson from the Giants? What about that? Could you see Russell Wilson wearing the Bengal stripes of the in Cincinnati?
I don't know, Blake. It's going to be a tall task and really tough because.
Well, I don't know if he's going to lead them to glory,
Russell
but
Wilson's
he's better than Jake Browning, right?
Well,
Yeah.
well, I mean, think about it. Jake Browning was
Obviously Burrow being out with injury.
Well, I know, of course, but which was heartbreaking for that fan base. So too is Lamar Jackson, by the way, which he's also out with injury.
Right.
So
we should mention that as well.
Those teams are in trouble because of their injuries with their quarterback and their playmakers and yeah. So we got in a second, but my point about Jake Browning is that about Jake Browning is that he is a true story quarterback. I mentioned this on the show before. I want to say it again. Jake Browning, if you don't know about him, he is by far he is by far so he is by far the most so he is by far the most long shot walk-on high school player from Folsom High School. He played college at Washington. He went undrafted in the 2019 NFL draft. Yes. And he's won Pac-12 Player of the Year in 2016, NFL completion percentage leader, which is remarkable if you watch his film stats and his highlights, that he is by far, I think, if we're in high school, he is a 4.0 grade records, and he is the 229 touchdown of Mark, and he's won the Gatorade Player of the Year, and that's how I know about Jake Browning, and he's got a lot.
Be getting this much Jake Browning info.
And you're going to love this, Blake. He studied Foster School of Business as a direct into their business administration program in his freshman year. So I know it's really in your field, but that's what he does off the field for football, just like what you do in your job, Blake. So lots to like with Jake Browning for sure.
I love the fact that he's a great student, and I love a Husky, obviously, but I'm just not sure he's
who doesn't
get the job done for the Bengals. So we'll see if they make a move there. But
yeah, Joe Flacco's ready.
Joe Flacco's out for Dylan Gabriel, isn't he, in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Not the most surprising benching in the world, is it?
No.
So we'll see if that can change the Browns' fortunes. Wouldn't bet on it personally, but we should mention as well, Jack, the game we got tonight Obviously, we record this on Thursday Night Football, a great spectacle. Pretty good game tonight. I think a lot of these Thursday night games have been pretty enticing matchups, you have to say,
Mm.
so far this season. We have the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams in an NFC matchup. Both teams 3-1. Both teams have high expectations for the season. Rams are pretty about touchdown favored in this one. Kind of a little bit surprising, maybe. I think we'll see a lot of 49ers red in that stadium tonight, won't we? Obviously, big fan base that travels. So, interesting matchup, Jack. How do you see this one going?
Well, we just had one last week with the last NFC West showdown between the Seahawks and the Cardinals at Arizona. Tonight, we get the California showdown between the 49ers. This would be San Francisco versus LA, and this will be the 49ers. This will be and this will be and I've just got some stats that Brock Purdy is ruled out in this game, so that means most likely
That's why
I
the
think
line was so high.
they're going to start Mac Jones in this game is what I'm hearing. So
He did it.
so
He's
that's
done.
the
He's done pretty well so far, though, for the
yeah.
Niners. You have to
Well,
say.
yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, they did lose to Jacksonville last week, but
I mean, look. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Of course, but Jacksonville had a pretty good defense in that game. But I'm sure, but I'm sure Kyle Shanahan and Mac Jones will find a way to bounce back from this game. Especially when you're trying to get a game it in a short week on Thursday night. Now, Christian McCaffrey and Ricky Perso, who I found in my fantasy league, and he is out in this game, so that's a huge blow for me. But for the
who Pearsall is?
yeah, for the 49ers, that is too. So
You better put him on your bench.
I'm sure my dad will work on it. Which I know which I know what he's,
We'll look at that
which I
later.
know he's doing. So yeah, he got it all squared away. But yeah, Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams and Kyrie Williams and Matthew Stafford, which he's getting pretty old, but he can still go at it very strong as a quarterback. And without Ricky Perso, that's probably going to be that's a little bit of a blow for Kyle Shanahan. But at least he has some other playmakers that he can deal with on the field. So I think Christian McCaffrey can step it up, and he can really be your best playmaker target other than Ricky Perso and yeah, Nick Bosa and all those other players can really step it up, and they can have a bounce back mentality from their game against Jacksonville last week, which I know they can. And so, but now going into LA against the Rams, they're a great team too. It was actually a close game last week against Indiana Jones and the Colts, and Mac Jones and the Colts, and that was a close game. Except the Rams just finished the drives and end up winning that game, and that's really the difference for the Rams so far this season. Is that really the way I look at it is that for the Rams to win this game, they have to step it up and try to score more points than you can, limit your turnovers, don't take any interceptions, or just don't get too greedy with the football. And if you do all that, then I think the Rams have a chance to win this game. But the 49ers, they have a great team too, but it's just gonna be a toss up for me in this one with this NFC West showdown for California edition. I've got the Rams win this one slightly.
Okay. Rams slight victory. I
Yeah.
think I tend to agree with Jackson on that one, to be honest. I think given the injuries to the Niners, it's going to be a tough task for them. Mike, what do you say?
Rams,
Okay.
no
We got
doubt. No doubt.
three Rams here, which probably means the Niners will win. Aha, I'm
Yeah. I
kidding.
mean,
I'm kidding.
the Rams the Rams only loss was what to the Eagles this year.
Right.
Right.
Which
And
in of
and
itself was a bit of a fluky ending to the game with a
hmm
blocked field goal, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep. If it wasn't for that, the Rams would be undefeated.
There you go. There you
And
go.
you know, beating the red hot Colts last week. And the Niners offense is just kind of in a disarray just with the injuries and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, the Rams will win by 10.
Okay. There you have it. There you have it. We've got our picks for tonight. We are just about out of time here on Good Guys Sports. So I want to say thank you to all who are viewing and listening. And thank you, of course, Jackson and Mike, for another great show. We have plenty of great sports topics to cover as we progress through October. So, gentlemen, have a great weekend.
Yeah, all right. You do the same. Bye
Bye,
now.
everyone.
Thanks, guys.